Join us at Women of Courage and celebrate the achievements of women. The Michigan primaries and the general election are coming up, so we thought we should say something about why you should vote. Elizabeth Wallis from the League of Women Voters in Texas says here are some reasons why you should vote. She says if nobody votes, it's not a democracy. If you don't vote, people will not take you seriously. Voting is how you define yourself as part of something larger than yourself. Number four, if you do not vote, someone else will make the decisions for you. Voting is part of your independence. Number five, it matters. It matters to the future of you, your family, and your community. Six, people who don't vote are letting down their families and their communities. Moms, do you have an 18-year-old in your family? If so, give him or her register and be certain they vote. 8. Refusing to vote isn't a rebellion, it's a surrender. Number 9. Love your country. Prove it by voting. Number 10. Voting is the great equalizer. The richest billionaire in America gets just one vote, the same as you and me. Number 11. What do the smart people do? They vote. They are voters. Number 12. Elections have consequences. Be a voter. Elected officials make all the big decisions and they listen to the people who vote. Number 14. If you don't vote, you're invisible to the elected officials who make all the big decisions. Number 15. Did you know people with money spend billions of dollars on elections? Billions spent for television ads, mailers, people to make phone calls and to knock on doors. The smart people spending all that money are trying to influence the voters. If it didn't matter, they wouldn't do it. Number 16. If you don't vote because you think your vote doesn't matter, then the people who don't want you to vote because you are afraid of how your vote will not win. Number 17. Bad people are elected by the good people who did not vote. Hundreds of thousands of Americans have died to protect your right to vote. You owe it to them to vote. 19. Voting is the right thing to do. Start preparing to vote now. Go and register at the Secretary of State's office. Find out where your polling place is and be prepared to be the first person in line to vote that day. If you do not have transportation to the polling place, call your local library and find out who is offering free transportation to polling locations. Remember, vote. Last time we discussed the lives of 17 black women. These were women that participated in the civil rights movement. They performed exceptionally. Most of these women were just ordinary, average women, except they wanted change to take place in their lives and in the neighborhood and in the lives of their friends and families. So they got up and did something. We introduced these 17 women to you because we wanted you to compare yourself to these women. Why can't you live a life the way these women lived their lives? You need to ask yourself this question. You need to ask yourself, what am I doing to participate in life to bring about a change so my children can live a better life than what I lived? If you cannot come up with a reason why you are not participating in life, then you need to take a serious, hard look at yourself And you need to look at the people who you are living around, the people that you consult for advice, the people who you listen to. This is extremely important. If you do not change, what do you expect from the lives of your children? All you can expect is that they're going to end up prostituting themselves, selling dope, or ending up in prison. Did you have bring your children into the world for these children to go their lives to go down the drain? Well, if you brought your children into the world because you love them, then you must stand up and fight for their lives, which means that you're going to have to go back to school, which means you're going to have to change your life, which means you're going to have to clean your house, which means you're going to have to learn how to manage your time. Life is not something that you play with. You don't have time to sit and gossip. You don't have time to be talking about somebody else's breast and butt. You don't have time for foolishness. You don't have time to be sitting up smoking marijuana. Last week we had a report of a woman. She wanted to sit down and have a good time smoking marijuana, so she gave her child some cold medicine. She ended up killing her child. She poisoned her child with this cold medicine so she could have time to smoke marijuana. Is that not unbelievably stupid? If this woman was a reader, she would have known you cannot give children noxious substances like that. Their bodies cannot process those chemicals. Now this woman is facing murder charges for killing her infant child. Is that unbelievably stupid? Once you bring a child into the world, you are responsible for the life of that child. Period. It is unconditional. That's the way life is. When you bring a child into the world, you are responsible for that child. Then you need to educate yourself and learn some discipline so that that child can live a healthy life. If you do not feel good about yourself, then go see a psychiatrist. Go talk to a psychologist. If you're bringing unrelated men into your home every other month, you need to go see a psychiatrist. If you're trying to screw every man in the world, trying to prove how better you are than somebody else, you need to see a psychiatrist. Something is wrong with the way that you think. If you go out to bars trying to find a man so he can give you $30 to pay your light bill, something's wrong with the way you think. That's a stupid proposition. You're going to take a chance on your life by contacting AIDS just to get somebody, screw a man so he can give you some money. And why are you so worried about your butt size and your breast size? You want to go have an operation so you can enhance your butt, as they call it, so you can have a larger butt to attract men, and you're going to take a chance on your life and leave your children here motherless. That doesn't make any sense. You need to be satisfied with the body that God gave you and go on with it. You don't have time to sit down moaning why your feet is a size 9 or why they're a size 11 and why you got a big nose and a flat face. You ain't got time for that foolishness. You have to get up and earn a living to make certain that your children have what they need to become strong adults who can take care of themselves, who can make good decisions and not stupid decisions like going to try to rob somebody and steal someone's purse when they don't even know how much money they got in their wallet or purse. Stop using poverty as an excuse. Yes, poverty is hell, but you can come out of it because other people have come out of it. But you have to have discipline. You're going to have to want to do it. And if you're around stupid talking people, you need to get away from them because that's what's pulling you down. Anyone that's not going in a good direction in their life, you need to leave them alone. Today I want to discuss the organization out of California called Moms for Housing. The group was started by 4 black women, although I only have the names of 3 of the women. They are Misty Cross, Dominic Walker, and Sharina Thomas. These women chose a unique way to protest the housing allocation in Oakland, California. The women were all homeless, some with children. They found a vacant home and set up residency in this home. On the outside, one would say that the women had no right to set up residency in a house that they did not own nor were renting. There was a great deal of clamor over their audacity. People began to take sides. The real estate owners wanted the women evicted. A court order was granted and the women were promptly put in jail. But something else happened. The women were also promptly released from jail because someone bonded them out. The women not only became their own spokespersons, but they also obtained the services of an attorney, and other people began to speak out for them. The women had exposed a serious housing problem in Oakland, and the city council and the mayor had to pay attention. There was a real estate company who was deliberately pricing blacks out and making houses only available to white men. What eventually happened is the organization Moms for Housing united mothers, neighbors, and friends to reclaim housing all over the Oakland community from big banks and real estate speculators. The mothers have complained that there were over 4,000 vacant homes in the city and there should not be any homelessness within the city with that many vacant houses. They also demonstrated that the real estate investors were destroying the housing market and pricing people out of the homes for white men. These speculators would buy up the homes, then let the houses sit. The four women became a collective of homeless and marginalized house mothers coming together with the ultimate goal of reclaiming the houses in the community. The group pointed out that if a single mother is often challenged to find safe and affordable housing for her family. Dominique Walker, one of the women who started this movement, who moved into the vacant homes, said, "This came out of absolute desperation. There are times we're living in where your only option is to occupy a house or live with your children on the street." The property that they occupied was owned by a real estate investment company out of Rodolfo Beach, and it was named Ridgewood. Once the sheriff received the eviction order, they promptly boarded up the house and then fenced the house off. Now, this is how the real estate company Ridgewood is described. It is a house flipping company that purchases houses and then lets them sit. Many of the vacant houses in Oakland are owned by this company. This is what one spokesperson said: "No one should be homeless where houses are sitting empty. Housing is a human right. The Moms for Housing are uniting mothers all over the community to fight these speculators." The women said, "Before we found each other, we felt alone in this struggle. But there are thousands of others just like us in Oakland and also in the Bay Area. We are coming together with the ultimate goal of reclaiming housing for the community away from speculators and profiteers." Said, "We are mothers, we are workers, and we are human beings, and we deserve housing. Our children deserve housing. Housing is a human right." See, the speculators were going across Oakland, seizing all the houses that were in bankruptcy or where it was being foreclosed. There was a community organization called Community Land Trust. They wanted to purchase this property for the market price and then rehabilitate the houses so people can rent them. That organization pointed out that there were 4,000 unhoused residents, a population that grew from 47% between 2000 and 2019, along with the homeless rate, housing costs that climbed in Oakland. Pointed out that there were more vacant houses in Oakland than there were homeless people. They said the only people who could afford the housing in the areas were white men who earned a little bit more than $100,000. a year. Black women earn less than half of that, or less than $50,000, whereas white Latinas bring in less than that, about $39,000. So they're totally excluded from the housing market. Housing advocates said that the real estate speculation, like Redwood, acts as a displacement machine, exacerbating the city's vacancy and jacking up the price. They said that the company Redwood is one of Oakland's most prolific house flippers. Lawyers representing the Moms for Housing said that the city of Oakland is part of the housing speculation story. Certainly, the city has allowed these speculators to come in and buy these properties without demanding that they utilize the properties, without demanding that they make them affordable to be rented. One of the largest law firms in the area are representing the homeless residents of the city. They are demanding that the city do something about the homeless crisis in the face that they have 4,000 vacant homes. The lawyers said that the city would take and destroy the property of residents or force the property abandonment through threats of arrest. As a result, homeless residents are stripped of critical properties necessary for the safety and survival of themselves and their precious belongings. They said that the city operation against the homeless forces the homeless residents into unfamiliar areas with less protection from the elements and from those who wish to prey on their vulnerability, less property and less stability. The speculators are trying to get rid of blacks in the area and make the homes available only to whites, especially white males. I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." Now,
Oftentimes, we talk so much about the success of something that we don't highlight how important failure can be. Failure is what gives us those real life lessons. And until you've experienced that, you can't truly understand what success means. Because through failure, we begin to understand who we are, what we're made of, what we're willing to do to become successful. Failure is only an event. It does not define you. All it does is create new opportunities for you to succeed. Once one door closes, more will open. But you need to believe that. You need to live life now. Risk everything for your dreams. No matter what the results are, trust in yourself that you will find a way to become successful. In this life, we do not fear failure. We embrace the opportunities that come from it. Think about everything that has been created in this world. If people would have given up after one failure, what would we have? We would literally have nothing. We do not fear failure. We grow from it, we learn from it, and we move on.
if your vagina isn't working for you and you have a house filled with children and no husband, then you need to change. You need to start reading to learn how to win at life. You will learn a woman should never be without money. If you have to choose between eating and spending your last dollar, you need to drink water. Never spend your last dollar. Drink water. Learn that you can gain freedom through reading and writing. Power can be black or green. Take care of yourself first. Otherwise, you will not be able to take care of anyone else. You need to visit the website touchedbythelight.us to read inspirational articles and to watch inspirational videos. These articles and videos can lead you out of the darkness. You must read. You can no longer keep conducting your life based on information that you learned 10, 15, or 20 years ago. Stop relying on what your friends have to say and their opinions. Read and get the facts and take control of your life. If you cannot read or you have a problem reading, find someone at the library that can help you. Stop wasting your life away by drinking alcohol and smoking marijuana just because you feel bad.
When you wake up this morning, I want you to think about a few things. In your life, what makes you happy? Is it family, relationships? Is it working or building your career? Is it school or education? What makes you happy every day? What makes you eager to start your morning? Now, while you're doing this, I want you to block any negative thoughts that you have. This is the time of day where you begin to invite positive thoughts into your mind. I want you to think about gratitude, being thankful for the things that you have in your life, being thankful that you woke up this morning, that you have a job and a place to sleep, being thankful that you have people around you that truly love and support you. Now make sure when you walk through today, you do it with a positive mind and live by the law of attraction. Believe 100% that positive things will happen throughout the day. And even if things don't go as planned, do not spend time focusing on that. Everything that you want in your life can be achieved. And it's up to you to go out and make it happen. And remember, express positive energy and you will get positive things back in your life. This is how you live by the law of attraction. You need to live life with a purpose. You need to spend the time needed to explore, to find your true passion. There are so many unhappy people in this world not willing to make a change. There are so many unhappy people not focusing on the big picture. 1 out of 3 people are happy with their lives. Think about that for a second. 70% of the people you see every day are not happy. And the majority of that has to do with purpose. People are programmed, wired to be okay with the minimum. People stay in jobs they're not passionate about. They date people who don't support them. hang out with people who don't help them grow. This can't be you. You need to spend the time to discover what your true calling is. What are you passionate about? What do you see yourself doing to make your mark? Are you in a job right now that you're truly happy with? Do you wake up every morning excited to start your day? If not, that's okay. You know now this isn't fulfilling you. But what are you gonna do about it? Are you willing to make a change to help reach your goals? If you are, it needs to start now. Because this won't happen overnight, finding your true calling. But once you do, you will see how everything changes. You will begin to see the quality of your life increase. All those problems you had, they slowly fade. You begin to see how powerful life is with a purpose.
Please tell your friends and family about our broadcast and invite them to listen to us every Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. and every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. on 88.1 FM WHPR. You can email us at murderedvoices@gmail.com to learn more about our programs and how you can become involved. You can find inspirational articles by the Women of Courage Show by visiting the website touchedbythelight.us. You can read some of our essays on your lunch hour. These articles will help you last throughout the day. They will inspire you not to quit. As we continue to speak of the Moms for Housing, you need to know at first these women were pictured as good for nothings. They had seized a house that did not belong to them, and it was their fault that they were homeless. All these women had to do was go get a job and they could get housing. But here's the catch. Those women were employed. Once the community became involved and people began to picket and support these women, and attorneys became involved and offering their services, attitudes changed. The real estate company Wedgwood tried to portray these women as lawbreakers, but all of these women were employed, but they could not afford rent at their salary. More and more people began to offer their support and services to the Moms for Housing. Here is an example of the support the mothers received. I am going to read you a letter published in a newspaper January 6, 2020, written by healthcare practitioners. This letter was signed by 142 doctors, nurses, etc. This letter was sent today to the CEO of Wedgwood, the real estate company who should sell the Magnolia Street to the Oakland Community Land Trust. The Lake Oakland Community Land Trust wanted to purchase the home where the women were living and then work out some arrangement with the mothers so that they could maintain the home. The CEO of Wedgwood, his name was Greg Geiser. Okay, the letter starts, Dear Mr. Greg Geiser, I'm writing on the behalf of the physicians, nurses, and other health workers who are committed to addressing the upstream cause of the challenging diseases we address on a daily basis in the hospitals and clinics where we see all patients who come through our doors. We are deeply troubled by the sharp rise of homelessness in the Bay Area, which greatly impacts the health as well as the quality of life of thousands of people where we work and live. We are acutely troubled by the data that states there are 100,000 vacant units in the Bay Area and only several thousand unhoused people. This reality demonstrates that our housing crisis is not so much an issue as a housing availability. It is a crisis of distribution, much like the so called famine in Ethiopia, where countless lives were lost not because of crop failure, but precisely because of the lack of imagination our current economic system cultivates in the faces of human need. We are writing to urge you to sell the Magnolia Street property to the Oakland County Land Trust so that struggling families who are currently occupying the house in Oakland can stay. This house was scooped up from the black community in the downturn and has been sitting empty while black families have been put out in the street. As you may know, the risk of rape, assault, and death as a direct consequence of homelessness made the action of these mothers a deeply desperate one. Remaining in their historical black neighborhood is critical because community ties there offer the only safe net for families at risk, serving as a surrogate to the economic opportunities that exist in white circles. It is inappropriate to ask the families to vacate a house that is providing them with critical shelter in the middle of winter. We understand your company keeps mentioning the legality of what is happening. Please remember that in this country, slavery was legal and murdering indigent people was legal. Our laws must change to reflect our growing awareness and humanity as a society. Legality is not a reasonable moral argument in the face of real threat to human health and safety. Evicting families is a threat to the health and safety. We ask you that you and your team meet with these mothers and their advocates to move forward with this situation that can serve as a model for resolving the housing crisis, not just here but throughout the state. Thank you for your consideration. Members of our healthcare team will be happy to accompany any community meeting to ensure the lens of health and human safety remain at the center of all consideration. Respectfully, Rupert Merriam, MD. He's the Associate Professor of Medicine, Faculty Director of the Healthy California for All Commission. Below his signature was the signature of 142 healthcare professionals. Doctors let that CEO know that they knew that Hedgewood had at least 80% of those homes were vacant. Imagine 100,000 homes in this area are vacant and California has a homeless problem. Now that this has been exposed, people from all over California are reacting. No one knew that there was 100,000 vacant homes in this area. No one knew that. So that you have less than 4,000 homeless people. Why would you have 100,000 homes vacant and not try to put these people in a home? Right now, the company Redwood is not looking very good. People are not happy with them. Reg would not be in the situation if they had sat down and worked something out with these mothers, and their situation wouldn't have gotten this much publicity, and then people would not have found out how many homes Redwood had seized through foreclosure and how many homes they have sitting vacant. And they wouldn't have found out that they are pricing these homes so that nobody can purchase these homes except white men. I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Now, will you help us? Our prison ministry is trying to reach women with sons and or brothers in prison. We would like for these women to help us with our ministry and halt the growing population of incarcerated men. If you know of someone with a loved one in prison, please contact us at 734-686-1444 or email us at murderedvoices@gmail.com. We must teach men to read to keep them from entering prison or before they leave prison. Men are now entering prison for killing their children. This has to stop. If we can reduce these murders by teaching men to read, to think clearly, and to manage their emotions. Edward James Olmos said, education is a vaccine for violence. We must do everything we can in our power to stop these heinous murders. Please reach out to us. When we work together, we win.
You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV. Detroit Live.
Hi, this is Renee stepping out on faith. You can watch me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on the WHPR TV Now app. Download our free app at WHPR TV Now.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Become a sponsor of the Women of Courage show by inviting 10 women for a pleasant afternoon to listen to us speak at your venue. Help us change our community to one of peace and harmony. The Women of Courage show is supported by the Women and Children's Restoration Ministries to help women problem solve and to help women realize their dreams. Women should believe that anything is possible. Our sole purpose is the restoration of injured women, both physically and mentally. We meet twice a month on Saturday at a local restaurant to discuss subjects germane to women. We see 5 main problems of black women that we must solve ourselves. One is the sexual abuse of children, bringing unrelated males into the home and fail to notice changes in behavior. Rape and murder of black women, failure to learn the warning signs, breast cancer, which is a failure to be examined, sex trafficking of black women, accepting prostitution as a way of life, economic trials of black women due to the inability to read or lack of education. Learn how to sponsor the Women of Courage show by speaking to our spokesperson, Renee of WHPR. She can be reached at renee88.1fm at gmail.com. I repeat, renee88.1fm at gmail.com. She will tell you all about it, or you can leave a message at the number 734-686-1444. Thank you. Dear listeners, help us save a life. Stop breast cancer from taking lives. Will you assist us in putting the booklet Black Women and Breast Cancer in the hands of a million people? Please go to the website www.touchedbythelight.us and download the booklet Black Women and Breast Cancer. Then email this booklet to 5 friends, asking them to email the booklet to 5 of their friends. We are trying to reach a million women with this information to save lives. The death of one woman to breast cancer from our community is one woman too many. We thank you for your support. Reading is one of the most important activities that a person can participate in. A world of information is available to you. This information can help you shape and change not only your life, but the lives of your children and spouse. Visit the website touchedbythelight.us and find yourself a book to read. For more information, you can email us at murderedvoices@gmail.com. We thank you for listening to my broadcast. We would like for you to consider the women we just discussed. Think about the lives they led, what they had to do to win, the forces that they were fighting, and how they managed their families, their friends, their spouses, and their jobs. What these women did with their lives was not easy, but they stepped out into the unknown believing in themselves. They were willing to share their lives with others. They had great compassion and love for their fellow man. Do yourself a favor and read about these women. They will inspire you. You have no idea what you can accomplish with your life. All you have to do is believe. You are capable of great things. All you have to do is stand up and try. It is important that you wake to the forces affecting your lives and the lives of your children. You cannot sit back and let someone else do the work. You must become involved. It is all hands on deck. One day you may be sick and elderly and in need of food stamps. Then what? Are you going to sit at home saying to yourself, I should have done something better with my life? I should have joined other people in working toward a better community. I should have voted more. I should have made voting a priority in my life so that I could make my wishes known to the men and women I was sending to Washington instead of telling myself that my vote did not matter. You can do better with your life, but you must change the way you think. You need to expose your mind to different subjects. You need to surround yourself with people who are working toward a goal in their lives and not people who are standing in line waiting for the bar to open. You need to associate with people who are willing to pay for a tutor for their children to learn to read instead of purchasing marijuana to make themselves feel good. If you are a person who is constantly putting yourself down, you need to see a counselor or a psychiatrist. Do not lose your life to depression. Go seek help and the advice from a professional. You have no idea how much better you will feel. Your seeking a professional will help not only you but your family. Illnesses in families affect everyone. No one escapes the effect of self loathing and depression. Stop concerning yourself with what others think of you or what you think others think of you. What you must ask yourself is, what is it that I want out of life? And once you make that decision, you are to formulate a plan and start working toward that goal. And stop worrying about being alone. You are never alone. God is always with you. And remember, you are the prophet of your life. Recovering your life from foreclosure, bankruptcy, divorce, or other personal tragedies is not easy, but you must believe. You may be wounded, broken, battered, and hurt by life, but you must stand up and fight. People often say, when you're going through hell, never give up. It's easy for someone to say this, but talk is cheap. But you are in a place where every turn you take you are met with a challenge or trouble, one thing after another. I'm not here to simply tell you not to give up. I understand what it means to be going through what you're going through right now. I step on a cement floor being bitten by spiders to survive. However, I'm here to tell you that change is possible. There is light at the end of the tunnel, but you must hang on and do as I tell you. Yes, change is possible. I want you to hope and to believe against even all evidence. Spare is no respecter of status. It is no respecter of age, background, gender, or color. Somewhere right now there is a child crying, a man high on drugs, a mother dancing in a club just to pay her bills. Somewhere right now out there is a person heartbroken, a loss of a dear one, a failed promise of love. Somewhere out there is a person clothed in rags, without a home, without affection, and without a family, and without love. Somewhere right now, someone out there is broken, going through a rough time. I say unto you, hold on, stand fast. You can restore and recover your life. You must believe that you are worth fighting for, regardless of what the world says. When I lost everything and had to live in my car, I had a person to forecast gloom and doom into my life. She said the only person in the world that I loved would desert me. This did not happen. When a doctor punched a hole in my heart and sewn me back up And I bled inside my chest cavity for 7 days. I did not die. God sent me an angel to help me. When cancer visited me, I did not die. God sent me an angel to stand by me. I still have both these friends today. They have seen the best of me and the worst of me. I say unto you, believe and stand fast. Help is on the way. In closing, remember when you read and learn with your child, the entire family benefits. Let us see how strong you are to honestly work with your child to improve the entire family. Have the courage to say to your child, I do not know, but I will find out for you. Let us see how emotionally strong you are to honestly work on a problem with your child. Saying I do not know is a courage, not a weakness. Have the courage to say I do not know, then go and ask a librarian to help you. Your child will learn his or her self-esteem and self-confidence from you. When you ask for help, it lets your child know there is no weakness in asking for help to obtain knowledge. Everyone in his or her lifetime will have to ask for help from someone. Your child will learn from your flexibility and courage. You can get more information on Women of Courage at touchedbythelight.us. Thank you for listening to Women of Courage. One of the most effective ways of getting ahead in life is by learning from the mistakes and successes of other people. This way, one can avoid the mistakes other people have made and possibly achieve success faster. This is one of the reasons why you cannot afford not to read the series Women of Courage. In this series of books, the lives and times of several women were chronicled who by sheer courage conquered the world around them. These women are examples of the quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, when a resolute young fellow steps up to the great bully, which is the world, and takes him boldly by the beard, he is often surprised to find out that the beard comes off in his hand and that it was only tied on to scare away the timid adventurer. These are ordinary women like all of us, but they were determined to do extraordinary things. From the stories of their lives, you will learn how to stop making and living a mediocre life and start conquering your world and living on your own terms. For them, failure was not an option. Rather, it was an opportunity to refire and reach for their goals again. They have shown tremendous courage, so much that their lives could easily serve as a template for other women to emulate. Your primary starting point is believing in yourself and encouraging yourself even in the face of failure and naysayers. Thomas Edison failed numerous times, but he kept going. Finally, he won and invented the light bulb and other inventions. The same with Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln failed at politics many times. He even ran for dog catcher and lost, but he kept running for public office until he was elected president. One thing about the series Women of Courage, the books are not ordinary books. These books will challenge you, push you, and of course inspire you to gain your life again. Remember, a man is what he thinks about all day. So said Ralph Waldo Emerson. If your vagina isn't working for you and you have a house filled with children and no husband, then you need to change. You need to start reading to learn how to win at life. You will learn a woman should never be without money. If you have to choose between eating and spending your last dollar, you need to drink water. Never spend your last dollar. Drink water. Learn that you can gain freedom through reading and writing. Power can be black or green. Take care of yourself first. Otherwise, you will not be able to take care of anyone else. You need to visit the website touchedbythelight.us to read inspirational articles and to watch inspirational videos. These articles and videos can lead you out of the darkness. You must read. You can no longer keep conducting your life based on information that you learned 10, 15, or 20 years ago. Stop relying on what your friends have to say and their opinions. Read and get the facts and take control of your life. If you cannot read or you have a problem reading, find someone at the library that can help you. Stop wasting your life away by drinking alcohol and smoking marijuana just because you feel bad. Reading is one of the most important activities that a person can participate in. A world of information is available to you. This information can help you shape and change not only your life but the lives of your children and spouse. Visit the website touchedbythelight.us and find yourself a book to read. For more information, you can email us at murderedvoices@gmail.com.
You need to live life with a purpose. You need to spend the time needed to explore, to find your true passion. There are so many unhappy people in this world not willing to make a change. There are so many unhappy people not focusing on the big picture. 1 out of 3 people are happy with their lives. Think about that for a second. 70% of the people you see every day are not happy. And the majority of that has to do with purpose. People are programmed, wired to be okay with the minimum. People stay in jobs they're not passionate about. They date people who don't support them, hang out with people who don't help them grow. This can't be you. You need to spend the time to discover what your true calling is. What are you passionate about? What do you see yourself doing to make your mark? Are you in a job right now that you're truly happy with? Do you wake up every morning excited to start your day? If not, that's okay. You know now this isn't fulfilling you. But what are you gonna do about it? Are you willing to make a change to help reach your goals? If you are, it needs to start now. Because this won't happen overnight, finding your true calling. But once you do, you will see how everything changes. You will begin to see the quality of your life increase. All those problems you had, they slowly fade. You begin to see how powerful life is with a purpose.
Here are some more reasons why you should vote whenever there is an election. Number 1, elections have consequences. You have the power to decide on the quality of life you want for yourself and future generations. Voting is your chance to stand up for the issues you care about, like public transportation, raising the minimum wage, or funding local schools. This is your life. Take the time to help decide what is best. Not voting means you are giving up your voice. Elections are decided by the people who go out and vote. Take some time and learn about the measures and the candidates and the issues. If you don't vote, someone else will make the decision for you. Your power is in your vote. Number 3, it is your money. You pay taxes, but you do not know how the money is being used. Most people don't. Voting is your chance to choose how your tax dollars should be spent, such as funding for health care and social services. Food stamps are very important to the elderly. Voice your concern by voting. Voting is an opportunity for change. Do you want to make a positive impact with your life? Voting gives you that chance. Support the candidates and the ballot measures that can help your community and your state and even the nation for the greater good. Make your voice heard in these elections. The community depends on you. Our communities are made up of friends, loved ones, neighbors, and children. Some may not know how important voting is, while others don't have the privilege. Make the decision to vote for yourself and those around you. Make sure your voice is heard. Vote in all upcoming elections. Make certain that your voice is heard. Start preparing now to vote. Go and register at the Secretary of State's office. Find out where your polling place is located and be prepared to be the first person in line on the voting day. If you do not have transportation to the polling place, call your local library and find out who is offering transportation to polling locations. Regardless, you must vote.
You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV. Detroit Live.
Hi, this is Renee stepping out on faith. You can watch me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on the WHPR TV Now app. Download our free app at WHPR TV Now.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern.
God bless, and remember, believe in yourself and stand up. Thank you for listening to Women of Courage, and have a great day.